What is up, everybody? Happy Friday Eve. Welcome to episode 35 of the Assets Over Money podcast with your boys Rich Hansen and KD, Kevin Dixon. Kev,
What
bro,
up? What up?
how you doing, man?
Hey man, hanging in there, bro. It feels like 2026 is here and coming already. You know what I mean? So gotta just get prepared, man. We're a month in already, bro.
Yeah.
Can't be left behind.
We started New Year in a new house, man. You moved.
Yeah, bro. Had to move on out, man. Moved into one of my good rentals.
Yeah.
Feeling pretty good about it.
Nice. How was that transition for you? Was it pretty busy or
I mean, I didn't have a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just me and my daughter stuff. So, it was paid movers the movers.
Okay, dang. So you got it like that, huh? You ain't had to lift a finger.
Nah, I mean, I helped for sure. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But you know, ain't nobody trying to lift all that, bro.
Now I'll tell you, that's cool. I'll tell you what too, man. Like in the military, whenever we go on have on whenever we do moves, we get movers, man. And like that's one thing I think is a real big perk of the military is bro, because moving is expensive, man. Even if you're just moving down the street or in the same city, but like a lot of folks they moving, pretty far. This stuff ain't cheap, man. You think between getting all your stuff together, packing it up, freaking, put it in boxes, getting movers if you got them, getting the U-Haul, traveling, gas, food, bro, it adds up. I'm talking like, yeah, I think for our move, and we got movers, we did like we gave a majority of the stuff to the movers, and then we bought like a U-Haul or whatever. It was very expensive, and then we got like reimbursed for our expenses,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
was amazing. You just got the money back, and then we got money for certain things. So it was it was cool. It was cool. But yeah, so I do not I know how the moving is, but I feel like man, that's crazy, moving and paying all the money and all that kind of stuff. But it's a blessing to be able to be
Ultimately,
in a
is
position like that.
ultimately is worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For
Yeah. I say
sure.
what too. It's like it's a blessing to be able to be in that position to where you can afford to get movers, man. 'Cause a lot of folks can't. They gotta do it themselves, man.
Yeah, bro. I get it.
Yeah. But I guess jumping into it because I don't want to be labor. I could probably sit here and talk all day about some random stuff, man. So number one, big win is this is episode 35. That's pretty cool. If you would ask me, shoot, I guess a little bit over a year ago, if you would have thought that I would have had a podcast, I would have told you no. So I think it's pretty cool that we're this far, right? And we're still growing and got some big things coming. But yeah, tonight, man. I mean, really tonight's topic is just based around um, you know something that I think is very important, something that you think is very important, and that is focus and intention. I think I think it's a good, and I'm glad we spoke about this, man. But I think it's a really right on time topic for a few different reasons, right? Like one, starting the new year off, a lot of people like to jump in with their New Year's resolutions and whatnot, and it's February, well, it's January 29th now, so a lot of those folks who probably set those resolutions probably already gone because I mean I seen less people in the gym than I normally do than I did on the first.
Hey, start fading out about week
Start
two.
fading out, yeah. Um, but it's just anything is possible if you are really like if you're driven, if you are focused, not only focused, but you have like you're very intentional in what you're doing, very intentional in your movements, very intentional in your steps and things of that nature. And it's something I think is often, people say, but what does it actually look like? So really just wanted us to kind of put together like based off of our experiences, based off the things that we've learned, based off of some of the successes we've had, based off of the failures and things like that. What does all that look like? So put together some talking points. We did. Um, yeah, and I guess really the first one I think is very important is with focus intention. Obviously, the flip side of that is distractions. So I'll just kind of pose this question to you and let you kind of jump in, man. So it's about distractions and how they often look like opportunities. We call it shiny object syndrome. Why do you think that distractions often look like opportunities?
Man, I mean, that's tough, man, because distractions are everywhere right now. Whether you're on social media, whether you're thinking about what's going on in the world right now. I mean, the world is a big distraction if you ask me, but you have to be laser focused on what your intentions are and where you want to take your ship to, right? because you know you don't want to be out here like a boat with no captain on it. You want to be at the wheel at all times to understand like, hey, what's the goal? You know, how do we get there, and which direction are we going? Because you know, if the boat doesn't have a captain, then you're gonna end up crashing out somewhere and being desolate to yourself. So at the end of the day, man, it's about just continuous focus on where you want to be because the distractions are out there, bro. I mean, you can get on social media any time of the day, start scrolling and be scrolling for hours. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I try to disconnect, you know what I mean, to the point where, I don't have to sit and look at it for hours. I might look at it sporadically throughout the day, but like I can't just be on there continuously because if you are, you're just probably just looking at stuff that's just, it's the shiny object, just like you said. You're gonna see that online because everybody is good online. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody perfect, man. You would never know.
Everybody's
Everybody got it going on.
you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you just got to stay on it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you, brother.
Okay, cool. But nah, just staying on top of it, man, because it's so easy to get distracted, man. I mean, I feel for some of these younger kids, right? Because they're growing up in this electronic age, and it's like they need that, right? Whereas someone like myself, I ain't always had it.
Yeah. Oh, so there? You're muted, brother. You're on mute. Yo, you're on mute. There you. Mm-mm. Dang, the new house, man. We gotta have to call AT&T, Verizon, or somebody to try to get you squared away, man. Nah, you out. Dang. Well, mostly about it, Kevin, man. But luckily, he was saying some good stuff, man. So when it comes down to shiny object syndrome, a couple of notes that I put down for it, man, I think are pretty important is to understand that every opportunity isn't always aligned with your mission. And I think that is something that is very hard to wrap your head around, especially if you are more entrepreneurial. And the way my brain work is very much so like a visionary, right? I always got good ideas. I always have, everybody has, the $1 million ideas. Like in my head is always running 1,000,000 miles per hour. I'm always thinking of all these different things and all these different things that I could be doing, man. And the importance of focus and being intentional on what you're doing is just so important. So I listen to a lot of successful folks, and some of the things that I hear that is a constant from those successful folks that they all usually say is that they are hyper focused. So if their goal is XYZ, they are going to stay on that path until they reach XYZ, and there's not any type of there's no deviating from that path. One of the things that I've learned, one of the things that they said is the cost of saying yes to too many things equals diluted energy, delayed growth, and delayed growth. So if you're traveling down a path, somebody pops up, right, and says, man, like you could be doing this and this will get you faster. I'll use an analogy like real estate. If you are focused on, let's say, wholesale real estate, right, you don't need to be chasing, shiny strategies or shiny objects such as Airbnb, multifamily, buying land. Become a master of that one area, become great at that one area of expertise, get good at it, set systems in place to where you have the ability to remove yourself from it. Or after you've done it for a few years, accomplish the goals that you set. Say you were trying to hit a certain number, that is at that point that maybe you could switch to something else, such as multifamily, Airbnb, things of that nature. Because I see a lot of folks, especially in the real estate phase, and Kev, you could talk to this as well too, is there's a lot of people who I'll say they flip-flop between a lot of things. You can kind of see that in their in what they're doing, whether it's on social media, what they're doing, whether it's, in their bio is like, I'm a real estate investor. I specialize in Airbnbs. I specialize in multifamily. I specialize in this. And I mean, there's an old tale or old saying that everybody always knows about, right? A jack of all trades is a master of none. So I would say if you are entrepreneurial and you have a business that you're building, focus on that business. Focus solely on that business and do not deviate from it. And the more successful you get, right, that's when more opportunities usually pop up. But it's important for you to stay focused, right? Do not deviate from your plan. Stay focused until you get to where you're looking for. I got two quotes that I put here, right? One is from Seneca. I like Seneca. He said some cool stuff, man. If you don't know what port you're sailing to, no wind is favorable. So if you are not aligned, right, then you're going to be one of those ones that are going very, very sporadic. Usually a lot of people that you see who are the ones who are pretty all over the place when it comes to building the things that they want to build is they don't have a mission. They don't have a goal. And they may have a goal, they may have a dream, but they have no type of plan to get there. And then a biblical verse here, this is from James 1:8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So one of the things that I wanted to speak on there. The next topic that we have here is the difference between hustle and alignment. So I think when it comes to being an entrepreneur, a lot of folks say you just got to go out there and hustle. You got to go out there and grind. You got to do X, Y, Z. You got to stay up all night. You got to get up really early. You got to hustle, do everything yourself, all that kind of stuff, right? I say a lot of that, while there's some truth to that, I believe that a lot of that is BS, right? You can hustle all you want, but if you don't know where you're hustling or what you're hustling for, I would argue that you're hustling backwards because you don't know what you're chasing. You're just doing work to say I did work and giving yourself a pat on the back, giving yourself a high five at the end of the day because you feel as if, you went out there and made it happen, but you really didn't. Hustle feels good, but being aligned in what you're focused on, that's what actually produces results. So a question to kind of ask yourself, and something reflecting that I've did, and a question that has been asked of me is, are you grinding, right? The hustle that you're doing, are you doing it because you truly feel that you're getting something done? And in my head, I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm getting this done. I'm feeling getting this done and things like that. And what my mentors told me was like, all these things are things that are not putting you closer to your goal. These are things that you're just kind of doing to say that you're doing, to kind of check the block to say, oh, I did this. So a lot of the time is that hustle, that grinding that you're doing is out of fear. It has nothing to do with what your actual purpose is. And maybe it's fear of failing, fear of being successful, or fear of having that lack of knowledge. But a lot of the people are just, hustling, don't even know what they're hustling for towards. So I think that's pretty important. Along that same vein, when you are in that grind or in that mix of entrepreneurship and you're out there making things happen, moving with a purpose, is very important for you to slow down, stop, reassess, and see if you're actually getting closer to where you're, looking to be. So with that, I think that's a very good talking point. The first thing that pops into my mind is we all have goals. We all have things that we want to accomplish, whether it is a goal for the year, a goal for a couple of years, things like that. You got to break those goals up. You can have one big goal, but within that one big goal, there are multiple goals, right? Like a good analogy would be like the top of a mountain. If my goal is to reach the top of the mountain, that's great. I'm going to climb Mount Everest. Excuse me. My goal is to reach the top of Mount Everest. That's a good goal to have. Along Mount Everest, there are multiple checkpoints. There are multiple known camps and things of that nature. And those are goals that you should be trying to get. If you go try to climb Mount Everest straight without stopping, you're not going to, one, it's not going to work. And then number two, you more than likely are probably going to die unless you just built completely different. Right. So that's why there's certain checkpoints there, is because within those goals, like, all right, my goal is to reach checkpoint A, right? Take my time, plan out my route, whatever, make a plan. I'm going to, climb for however many hours, what have you. And then I reach checkpoint A. That is a goal that is getting accomplished. Another goal, say, okay, I'm going to reach checkpoint B. You go up, the weather's pretty bad. You're not able to make it to checkpoint B. You turn around and go back to checkpoint A. Hey, that's when you're taking a pause, tactical pause, and reassessing what it is that you're chasing for. So all I have to say is very important for you to kind of just stop, at some points, right? And don't just push and pursue towards one goal. Set certain checkpoints, set certain sub goals for yourself, so that way you're able to go out there and make them happen. Oh, my dog Kevin been here the whole time. I didn't even add him to the stage. I need to see it. I'm like, man, Kevin gone.
Nah, dog, you sound good, man. Just listening, yo, just applauding you from backstage, bro.
Yeah, you good, man? You got that freaking, what kind of internet you got?
Man, nah, the internet is actually good, yo. What it was is that someone tried to call me, and my joint was not on do not disturb, and
Mm.
it logged me out.
Hey, we just need it, bro. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send you a laptop, bro. I'm gonna buy you a laptop or something like that, so you can hop on a laptop.
Man, listen, I got the laptop, yo. It's just I don't have the stand. It would be have to be posted up somewhere.
Yeah, we'll get you there, bro. We'll get you there, man. But I know I was talking a lot, bro. Was there anything that you wanted to add on that note, or is something to where I can go ahead and move on to the next topic, bro?
Nah, man, go ahead and move on to the next, man. You sound good, yo.
Awesome. Yeah. Before I leave, I got one more quote for you, man. You know, I like to have my little quotes in here. So it's a biblical verse. It's from Proverbs 16:3. As my grandma used to say, proverb a day keeps the devil away, right? So read a proverb a day. 31 verses or 31 chapters of Proverbs is usually right around 31 days in a month. So proverb a day, keeps the devil away. So commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. All right. So number 3, some of the things that we're personally focused on this season. So Kev, I'm gonna pass it to you, man. I know we talked a little bit about some of our goals like that, some of our goals over the last couple meetings, especially regarding goals for the year, New Year's resolutions, setting goals and things of that nature. What is it that you are personally focused on, in this season that we're currently in? It could be this year, it could be this quarter, what have you. But what are some of the goals that you're focused on?
I'm gonna tell you, man. One of my big goals is just staying consistent. You know what I'm saying? Staying focused on whatever it is you're doing to get you to your goal. Whether it's cash flow a month, whether it's getting a new job, whether it's trying to find your first property or build your first house, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Just staying consistent at it, right? I think you were talking in the last bit, you know, how you're trying to do all these things and not really accomplishing nothing, right? And it's like you got to focus on one thing to get out, and you only got to be good at one thing. You know what I mean? So whatever it is, just find what it is and stay consistent and trying to be that. You know what I mean? Like I always want to look at being a better father, and how can I do that? I got to stay consistent at doing the small things, being there, being around, and asking questions and being available to answer them if you need to, right? So it's just being consistent, man, and growing our portfolio, scaling our business, um, and just because it could be easy. Like I said, we talked about being distracted before, man, and like it's always something to look at on social media, bro. I mean, no matter what you're doing, what time of the day it is, you can always go to your phone and just get lost in your phone, yo. And that's kind of where the world is going to right now. But
It's that hit of dopamine, man.
you
The
know what I'm
small
saying?
hit. The small
Yeah,
hit.
bro. And it's like, you get so concentrated on that, whereas you're not even thinking about what it is your goal is for the month or for the year or, whatever you're trying to hit, right? And so, for me, it's just about being more consistent, being, just getting better at what we're doing, right? So if we're looking at increasing cash flow every month, my goal is to be consistently looking at deals, you know what I mean? Talking to the brokers, talking to sellers about, selling their property, right? And, at the end of the day, man, it's just a constant grind because it's easy to get distracted and see with the work that we do, being, entrepreneurs in the real estate game. It's not like you're getting a check every 2 weeks with it, right? So it's like if you don't work, you don't eat. So you got to stay, on a constant grind, being consistent on a weekly, daily basis, and putting your best foot forward every day. Because again, it's easy to get lost in the sauce, man. You know what I mean? There's so much stuff out here to talk about. I mean, if you look at this administration, man, it's news every day, bro. I mean, it's something new to distract you every single day. So you got to stay on point, stay consistent, and just keep trying to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah, man. And with that, right, I heard you talk about a couple of things like, okay, you're focused on being more consistent, things of that nature. Like, how do you mean by that? Specifically, like, what are some of the things that you're trying to be more consistent at, right? Like, I think that would be, I don't know, I think that'd be good for the folks, man, because yeah, I think that'd be good for people to hear, man. What are some of the things that you're focused on? How do you feel like that is getting you closer to where you want to be? Um, just to show how like real it is. You know what I mean? Because entrepreneurship, like everybody loves it. You know, again, you talk about social media, man. You go on social media, you would think that everybody who says they're an entrepreneur is doing fantastic. You hear all the highs. You don't necessarily hear some of the lows, man. You don't hear about the long nights. You don't hear about the wasted money, the money lost. You know what I mean? All you see is the positive, man. So when you talk about staying focused, man, what are some of the things that you're focused on? What are things you're looking to be more consistent in within, you know, your business? I know you're in, you know, obviously, you know, multifamily. What are some of the things that you're doing?
First, I will say that everybody highlight tape is good.
Yeah.
Everybody's highlight tape is good, yo. So on social media, everybody got a highlight tape, right? So you know they're gonna make themselves look as good as possible. But you know, but when I was talking about being consistent before for us, right? It's like sending out 2 or 3 LOIs a week, right? Sending offers to brokers or sellers, staying consistent in that field, right? Because really, it only take really one big multifamily deal for you to change your whole life, right? So the more I can consistently stay on that and send out offers, I'll always have people calling me. I'll always have people, you know, sending me deals. And it's just about being consistent because it's so easy not to send those LOIs, right? Or not to reach out to a broker or not to try to talk to a seller. And as the weeks go by, you start to see like, hey, I just missed those opportunities to send an LOI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know what I mean? You got to be consistent with that because, you know, at the end of the day, I don't get paid from just sending LOIs. I don't, you know, it's a gradual thing. But as soon as you get one, you know, it's just, if you can get 2 multifamily deals done a year, 30 units and over, I mean, it'll change your life. You know what I'm saying? You can make $1 million off 130 unit. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up. And at the end of the day, it's about understanding how to do it and being consistent with, you know, sending out your LOIs. Cause it's like, you know, with residential, and you know this, Rick, if you ain't sending out offers, you ain't making no moves. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mm-hmm.
about sending out offers. And, you know, no different on the commercial side, like, you know, sending those LOIs, because eventually someone's going to bite and you're going to connect. And you just got to be ready to be able to take it down and understand what the plan is and what the play is to, you know, increase the value. Because, you know, we focus on value add buildings, right? We want to go in and increase the value of the property so we can increase the rents. When you increase the rents and the income of the building, the value goes up, right? So like at the end of the day, you know, it's no different than going after a fix and flip, but we're looking at the long term and we're looking at the cash flow. We're not just posted. We're not thinking about, you know, the sale and getting the big check. We don't want the big checks. We want cash flow every single month. So I'd rather have, you know, consistent cash flow monthly than getting big checks. You know what I'm saying? Because big checks are going to get big tax, and I don't want to pay taxes, right? So at the end of the day, we have to stay focused from the start, which is sending out LOIs, being consistent with, you know, talking to the brokers and talking to sellers to be able to achieve the cash flow that we want every month, whether it's 50,000 a month, whether it's 100,000, whether it's 200,000. We have to be consistent with sending the LOIs first. And so that's what I meant when I said, you know, I want to continually be consistent, you know, because that's the only way we're going to eat, right? Is increasing the cash flow monthly. And that's the only way we're going to achieve freedom is be able to increase the cash flow to a point where, you know, we don't have to go worry about working a job. The cash flow is going to be there every month. And that's the goal of the money game.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that. Now, yeah, reason I ask is like folks want to know, man. They want to know what you're doing, want to know what's real, and you know, and I think it's important for us to just try to be as real as we can, man, because there's a lot of folks out here who have their own, you know, shows, have their own podcasts, have their own platforms, things of that nature, and they're just saying whatever comes to mind, you know. I'm lying.
Man.
Like you listen to some stuff, and I was like, bro, that's just not true. That's just not possible. You know what I mean? Like you see the sales, some of them legit. Like don't get me wrong, but folks who walk around like, you know, I when I talk on the phone and I talk to sellers, I have 100% close rate. I was like, it's literally not possible unless you've closed one deal and talked to like one or two sellers. And he was like, then you might have a 100% close rate. But some folks just, you know, but yeah, not to go down that rabbit hole, man. jump into some of the things that I'm personally focused on. And it's going to be a perfect segue to our next topic, which is about like building like systems and things of that nature, which will probably be a good conversation. Like, brother, I am focused on one thing, and that is just like building my acquisitions team and turning that acquisitions team into a wholesaling operation to where we are doing just a crazy number of deals. And I think, like, for instance, like I've been wholesaling since 2020. One of the questions that I ask myself is, okay, and one of the more recent recollections are like things that I've had, or shoot, call it an epiphany, call it a realization, call it what you want, was that I've had a lot of success. Like I'm not, like, no joke, I've had a lot of success. I've made a good amount of money. I've also failed. I've also failed a lot, lost money, things of that nature, right? And like over those roads, over the course of those 5 years, I look back, it was like, okay, when I was doing really well, what was I doing? You know what I mean? What did I have in place? What didn't I have in place? When I was sucking, what didn't I have in place? What was missing? What was I doing? Was I really putting forth effort? Was I treating this like a business or a side hustle, right? And as I asked myself, there was a lot of inconsistencies. And within those inconsistencies, there was a lot of shiny objects sprinkled within those inconsistencies. Because once you start doing well, and I was saying this a little bit earlier, that's when different opportunities start popping up, right? People start seeing you doing well. Like they know you have they know you have some credibility. That's when different opportunities pop up, whether it is, looking to buy houses, whether that is looking to, okay, I don't need to wholesale no more. Now I can focus on flipping, or I need to focus on doing co-living, or I need to focus on what have you. And as you go off that path, like you're not focused, man. And one of the biggest misconceptions that you have is a lot of people tell you that we need to diversify. You need to diversify into, like I've heard, I don't know the common thing, and I didn't even know this was common, but a lot of people say you need like 7 different streams of income if you want to be ultra rich, 3,
Right.
4 different streams of income. And Alex Hormozy talked about this, man, and it was a fantastic analogy. He's like, a lot of people say that they need all of these sources of income, and the people that are saying it are usually people that are rich. And what they fail to speak about is what got them there. It was one source of income that they completely built up, and then from there, right, it allowed them to move into something else. And he gave the analogy. I was watching the video. He talked about, he had 7 cups of water. He was like, what folks fail to realize, what it looks like for us, just regular folks, right, trying to make it happen, trying to diversify into 7 different things, is us getting some water and just pouring a little bit in all 7 cups, and none of them are full. We got a little bit spread out all over. Collectively, it ain't nothing, right? On the flip side, for those who actually ones who are actually focused, or extremely focused, they fill up that 1 cup until that cup is like running over, and then they're able to move over to the next cup. It's like, hey, nothing else can fit in this cup. I built this to where it can go, and now I set up everything for it can continue to grow. Then we move over to the next cup. That is diversification. It's not just you going out and making it happen and trying to do 5 different things, or try to have your arms in like 8 different places like an octopus. You know what I mean? Just trying to, like, I can do this. And it's like, nah, man, focus on one thing. Focus on the thing that you want to achieve. Go get it. And then from there, that'll allow you to move on to other things. So getting back to the things I'm personally focused on is really just building out this wholesale business, man. I've never been more excited about this business. Like I feel right now the way that I feel when I first started getting into it. And when I'm not even like, when I was first in it, bro, I was a dangerous man. I'm feeling dangerous. You know what I mean? Yeah. For those out there, man, no time to chill. I'm trying to build. Y'all know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
But yeah, and I think within that, what that looks like, and the perfect segue would be going over to the systems, is like really taking a deep dive into understanding what your business looks like. If you have goals or you have dreams that you want to achieve, whether it be real estate related, whether it be on the job related, whether it be personally, but we'll talk more about entrepreneurship, because that's what the field that we're in. It's, you have to have systems in place. And like, I felt like I had the opportunity. I got to hop on a call with somebody who has a very, very extremely real estate business. I didn't get to talk to them, but I got to talk to one of their like folks, one of their team members. And bro, like, it's like he punched me in the face, man. But I freaking loved it. Like, we hopped on the phone. He asked me what I was doing. I told him what I was doing. He's like, okay, well, are you tracking your KPIs? And everybody says KPIs, like your key performance indicator. That's essentially, for those who don't know, that's the things that you are doing in your business that lead to success. So like if you are wholesaling, right? Like how many dials are you making a day? How many offers are you getting out there? Things of that nature. a lot of people track them, but don't necessarily know what they mean, or they're not tracking enough resources, or they're not tracking enough KPIs to actually understand what it is that they're trying to get. And what they told to me is like, all right, they're like, Rich, what are you tracking? I was like, I'm tracking our calls. I'm tracking how many lists, how many people we pull from our list a day. I'm tracking, some of the costs with it and everything like that. He was like, okay, well, are you tracking, how many calls lead to an offer? How many offers lead to an appointment? Are you rotating your phone? Like all these different things. And I'm like, no, like I'm not. He's like, yeah, you need to be doing that. He's like, do you have you're talking about wanting to build a team. You want to build a team that's duplicatable. You want to remove yourself eventually, things of that nature. He's like, okay, do you have SOPs in place? And I'm like, all right, yeah. So we have some SOPs for boom, 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 boom. He's like, that's good. That's good. Why are you still the only closer on the team? Like, why are you still closing? And I was like, well, I'm good at it. I want to just get some more deals under our belt before we pass it. He basically says is like, do you have a sales process written down for like for closers, not for leading up to it, but for closing? And I was like, no. He's like, well, what does your process look like? And I was like, well, I'll hop on the phone, explain my sales process to where it gets up to me. When after somebody sets the appointment for me, hop on the call and I explain what I do. He's like, I'm gonna be real with you. I was like, be real with me, man, because I'm a straight shooter. I like when people are real with me. He's like, sounds like you're just winging it. If you don't have a process, folks can't come in and like you can't just build a closure and say go out there and do yourself. You need something that is like duplicated. You need something that you could actually scale with. And that's just one thing. That's just one example of like a system that you need, right? So for you guys who are out there chasing certain things, like truly buy in and actually learn the ins and outs of all the things, because every business that anybody's in, there are key performance indicators. There's things that you need to be tracking. If you truly want to be successful, you're not going to be able to do it yourself. You're going to have to go wide. You're going to need a team at some point, unless you just don't have like any type of life and you're just focused on that, which is completely fine. There's some folks like that. But a lot of us, you can't do it yourself. And if you are doing it yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice, because you're not going to grow as fast. You may grow, but you're not going to grow as fast as you could if you're just out there doing it everything yourself, just making it happen, not tracking anything, not writing down the things that are working, not tracking what you're doing, because you can't scale like that. But yeah, I don't know if any of that was resonated, bro. I got kind of hyped up for a second, man.
Nah, bro. I mean, you're right, man. I mean, you're only gonna scale as much as your systems will allow it. You know what I mean? If you want to scale your business, you have to kind of nail your processes and your systems down, man. So you're constantly getting fed, right? Because it's like the machine, and it's like cranking out, leads every single month, and that's what you should be worried about mostly is the leads. You know what I'm saying? If your system is not cranking and producing leads, then it's kind of null and void. And tracking those KPIs and SOPs, all that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? So I completely agree with the systems, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm still in a place where I'm trying to put a system together for my coaching business, you know what I mean? And finding the right people to work with. Because like I said, everybody's a guru. That say they're a guru, only to take your money.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's true.
Just finding the right system and the right people to work with.
Yeah.
It's gonna make your life a whole lot easier.
Yeah. I think a lot of folks, man, one of the things you learn, a lot of these folks who are gurus ain't even doing the same business. Like they're not even in that business. They're in the coaching business now. Wholesaling, you'll see it, bro. A lot of folks who are like big names in wholesaling, they ain't even wholesaling no more. They teach wholesaling. They did wholesaling, but like it worked. And like now I'm gonna teach everybody else how to do wholesaling. And they're not even doing it. So folks you're getting advice from somebody who may have been successful at one point, but many folks know that the market changes all the time, man. Businesses change all the time, bro. And if you don't adapt, you don't overcome, you're not gonna achieve the results that you want to achieve. Like, sorry, this is very real, very real. But like folks who are out there, and this is, and folks who are out there who are just calling list of tired landlords, or just calling calling random list of high equity things of that nature, you are probably not going to do as many deals as you want, because that was hot, a couple of years ago, and people still found success in it. But you got to go through thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people before you get 1 to 2 people interested. Not to mention everybody's hitting that list. So if you truly want to find success, I think in wholesale real estate, like off of just contacting people, you need to be hitting, like, I think county data. So like things from the county, such as like foreclosures, whether it's somebody like list pendants or actually, has an auction, hitting probates, things of that nature. Because I think those are folks with the most motivation, and those are people who need, the most assistance. That's the folks that I think, that's what it should be kind of focused on. But yeah, being focused, being disciplined, the things you're focused on, developing systems. It's not just like anybody who is successful. If you peel the onion back a little bit, you will see how hyper focused that they are, how many systems that they have in place to ensure that they are doing what they're doing and making sure that they're doing it like repeatably. Like I'll see a lot of wholesalers, myself was guilty in this for a long time as well too, is that there's a lot of highs and lows is because some months I'm doing some deals. The next month I'm not doing any deals. Some months I'm doing any deals. The next month I'm not doing any deals. And the reason is because I didn't have anything set in place, man. Like I wasn't tracking nothing. I was just, I'm hitting the phones. I'm hustling. I'm just grinding. I'm hit the phones, call as many people as I can. But I'm not tracking certain things to where I could be like, okay, if I'm tracking stuff, I know the goals that I can set. So say, for example, made up numbers. If I call 100 people, like I know that out of 100 people, let's say 20 will answer. Out of the 20 that answer, I know roughly, 4 may have an issue. Out of the 4 that have an issue, I know 1 may be a deal. If you're able to, if you know that, like just simple math, if you duplicate it and you say you hire somebody to come on, you're calling and they're calling, you just doubled your throughput, which means you've doubled the amount of the people you're talking to, you double the amount of people who are interested, you doubled the amount of deals. And it comes down to numbers. Like obviously you need a skill set, right? You can't just go out there just calling folks. You need to have some type of baseline skill set. But after that, it's somewhat of a numbers game, and it is a numbers game, man. The amount of more people you talk to, in short, like obviously you gotta track it better, but the more people you talk to, the better you be, man. And all this stuff is like it's biblical. I got Proverbs 21:5. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. So it's biblical. It ain't just me talking, man. This is, you know what I'm saying? This ain't just me.
It was written.
Yeah, it was written. But awesome. Switching over to topic number 5. And this one I think is very important, man. And I think it's a good one to end on. But keeping God at the center of your business, especially as you start to grow, especially as you start to find yourself more into it. And Kev, I know I've been talking a lot, bro. I got one more thing. I just want to pass it to you, man. Maybe it's the coffee, bro. The coffee hitting me. I'm all hyped up. My heart.
Nah, man, you good, yo. You good, man. You putting out mad gems and nuggets out there for the folks out there listening, bro. So hey, please continue.
Sure. Yeah, man. So for like, I think that with that, right, as entrepreneurs, I feel like a lot of us, as we become more focused, a lot of times we sometimes forget.
Charlie, stop.
You know what I mean? Which isn't.
Charlie, stop.
You got a visitor coming in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't give a damn, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But yeah, as we are kind of like focus on our business, focus on the things that we, say focus on as entrepreneurs, we lose track of what's truly important. And that is like God. So like you need to prioritize God in your life. Obviously you need to you want to prioritize your business, you want to prioritize your entrepreneurship. But if you're doing all of that and like you have no relationship with God, you have no reason you're doing it for, it's like it's important to know your why. It's important to keep God at the center, man. So like myself, man, I have been like, been grinding, with that. I have certain peg points, all the stuff I'm talking about. I'm implementing. I ain't just out here just saying rah, what have you. But like part of my day is like when I wake up in the morning, obviously, go to the gym, do whatever. But part of my morning routine is I'm in the Bible. I'm listening to scripture. I'm reading the Bible, and I'm also listening to like a guided, a guided talk about what I just read to actually understand the meaning of the time and stuff like that, and how it's, and basically what it meant. And I don't know, man, just being rooted to God, being rooted in prayer is like good things happen, bro. And like I have a daily prayer. I think I mentioned that a few times before, but part of my prayer is I just ask God to like give me eyes to see the life that he has for me and direct my steps and lead me down the path that he wants me to be. Because I could think I want to go someplace, man. I could be completely off.
That's it.
I probably am. So I just ask God to direct my steps with everything that I do. So allow me to, obviously we have free will to make those decisions, but I just ask him just to give me vision to see what he has for me, man. So, man.
Yeah. Nah, bro. I agree with that, man. At the same time, bro, I mean, I'm I'm asking him just give me the wisdom to find my assignment. You know what I mean? While I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just give me the wisdom to find whatever it is that he has for me here. And you know, it's just constantly, you know, whatever he put in my heart, that's what I'm gonna go after until he tells me not to. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you know, you gotta keep him in the forefront, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because how you think Peter walked on water, man? Kept his eye on God. You know what I mean? That's the only way. So if you want to do great things in this world, you know, you just gotta keep your eye on God, man, and keep him off of the distractions of the world.
Yep. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and he will add everything that you need. So
That's it.
Yeah. So hey, I think it's a good closing point, man. We're right around 41 minutes. So good talk. Really good talk. Went longer than I expected.
Yeah.
Partially because I was, spitting. I'm over here sweating now, bro.
You juiced up, yeah.
Bro, I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped up right now. I'm pumped up, bro. But yeah, man. I hope this was useful. Some of y'all out there, some of y'all tuning in from the different platforms. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate your audience. One of the things that Kevin and I owe you guys, man, is a promise is we're going to continue to make this better. We're going to continue to have some good guests on here. So my only ask for you guys is just hit me up, hit Kevin up. Let us know what it is that you're looking for. One of the things that you're interested in, anything that you want to learn more about, and we will find that for you. This is like a podcast it's not for us. It's for the public. We truly want to help those out there. At the same time, like we're helping ourselves. So we're in a season to where we're growing. We ain't at the point to where, we're quitting our jobs and anything. Not yet, so like as we are growing, man, I'm looking to try to uplift folks together for us to all grow together, man. So if anything y'all want to learn about, hey, just hit us up, man. But outside of that, hey, this was episode 35 of the Assets Over Money podcast. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.